Now we start chapter 9, inheritance. This is very important in object-oriented programming. So at first I will explain section 9.1, creating subclasses. Inheritance allows a software developer to derive a new class from an existing one. The existing class is called the parent class, superclass, or base class. The derived class is called child class, subclass, or derived class. As the name implies, the child inherits characteristics of the parent. That is, the child class inherits the methods and data defined by the parent class. So child class can use methods and data defined by the parent class. Inheritance relationships are shown in UML class diagram using a solid arrow with an unfilled triangular arrowhead pointing to the parent class. So this notation is the inheritance, and vehicle is the parent, and car class is a child class. So vehicle is parent, super, or base class, we call like this, and car is called child class, subclass, or derived class. Proper inheritance creates an is a relationship. Is a relationship, meaning the child is a more specific version of the parent. Okay, so you must make an inheritance between some relationships. Okay, a programmer can tailor derived class as needed by adding new variables or methods, or by modifying the inherited ones. One benefit of inheritance is software reuse. This is very important concept in software development. By using existing software components to create new ones, we capitalize on all the effort that went into the design, implementation, and testing of the existing software. In Java, we use the reserved word extends to establish an inheritance relationship. So if you write like this, public class car extends vehicle, then this means that vehicle is the parent class of car. So by creating an inheritance relationship using extends keyword like this, the child class car, the car class, can use methods and data defined in the parent class vehicle. Okay, so even if we don't write here, car class can use the members of vehicle class. This is the inheritance. This is an inheritance example. A child class is like having all the members except constructors of each parent class on its own. Therefore, child class can use each parent member variables and methods. This is an example structure. Example package has three classes: parent class, child class, and inheritance test class. Main method is here, and we need to use extends keyword to inherit parent class. And in my example, there is a parent class, and parent class has two methods, hello and check. And child class has two methods, think and test. So class parent will be look like this, and child class will have only this one, but child class can use hello and method that are in parent class. This is the parent class. Parent class has two methods. Just for checking, there's nothing too important here. Just think about this is hello and this is check, and hello has just one print statement, hello in parent, and check in parent. Okay, And in child class, this is important. You need put extends keyword here. So child extends parent. This means that this class will be a child class of this parent class. So child class can use members of parent class. The child class has two methods. Thank will print thank in child, and test method will print out test in child. Okay. And then here, main method. In main method, at first I create the parent object. Since P is the object of a parent class, P can use hello and check method, right? So p.hello, p.check. Then p.hello will print out hello in parent, and p.check will print out check in parent. Okay? And after print out this line, the child object is created. Child object C is created. C has thank and test, but C inherits from parent class. It is like child also has hello and check. So we can call hello and check method like this. Even if C class child does not have this method, because a child class is inherits from parent class, C can use the method that are in parent class. Okay, so C.thank, C.test, C.hello, C.check, all are possible. Okay, so child object C can use its parent member, hello and check methods. Okay, this is inheritance. Let's see this example. In package example 1, there are 3 classes: parent, child, and inheritance test. In this example, I'll show that even if the parent class has a member of the same name, it is inherited to the child class. Let's see this one. This is a parent class and this is the child class. Parent class has hello and test method, and child has thank and test method. Here, test methods exist in both parent and child class. See? However, when a child object invokes a method that is in both its parent and its own class, it invokes its own method. I show this with an example. At first, I will explain this one. If you use extends to use inheritance, then you can have the child can have all the members of the parent class, right? So if a parent has hello test and child has thank test, so tests are both in parent class and child class. And this means that parent class has only this method, right? But child method will have the methods defined by itself, thank and test, and these two methods are from parent class. Okay, so even if the name of the methods are the same, the method is also inherited to the child class. Let's take a look at this example. Package example 1 has 3 classes: parent, child, and inheritance test. This is the main method will be here. And even if the parent class has a member of the same name, it is inherited to the child class. So here, parent class, and this is the child class. Child class inherits from parent class using extends keyword. Then here, the test method exists in both parent class and child class. So even if the child class has a test method like this, the test method in the parent class can also be used by the child class. So parent class has hello and test, child class has thank and test, but child class is like to have these 4 methods. Okay, so even if the method name is the same, both tests are in the child class. However, when a child object invokes a method that is in both its parent and its own class, it invokes its own method. This means that if the child object calls test method, this test, its own test, will be called. Okay, the child object has this one. Child object has this one, and it has a right to use this one. But the child object cannot call this method from the parent. Cannot call directly. Okay, child object cannot call this directly. In this case, if the child object wants to use parent test, then we need to use super keyword. Okay, super keyword. So if you use super keyword, then you can use parent test. Okay, but by default, the child object can use this test method. I will explain about super keyword later. Let's see this example. Parent class has 2 methods, hello and test, and child class, child extends parent, so there is an inheritance. Child class has 2 methods, thank and test. Here, test method is both in parent class and child class. And in main method, child object C is created. Since this child class inherits from parent class, C can use these 2 methods and these 2 methods. Okay, so at first C calls hello method, C.hello. Then the computer sees if there is a hello method inside the child class. Okay, at first the computer sees if there is a hello method here. If there is a hello method, then the computer runs it. But like this case, if the hello method is not in the child class, then the computer looks for it in the parent class. Okay, so the computer finds the hello method in the parent class, so hello is executed. Hello world is printed out. And then C, the object of child, calls thank, C.thank. Then the computer sees if there is a thank method inside the child. This time, thank method is in the child class, so thank you is printed out. And next, see the test. At first, the computer sees if test method is in the child class. This time, test is in the child class, right? So even if there is a test method in the parent class, since test method is in the child class, this test method is executed. Okay, this is called. So test in child is printed out. And as I told you in the previous page, if you want to call this one, you need a special keyword super. Okay, so I'll explain that later. The parent object cannot use members of child classes. So for example, parent has these 2 methods, and this is a child method, inherits from parent method. And here, P is parent object, P is created like this. Then P.hello is okay because parent has hello, and P.test is okay. Then this test, this one will be called, but this is an error. Thank is not in the parent class. Thank is in the child class, but parent object cannot use members of child class. So this is an error. This example is from the textbook. book class has only one member, pages, and here protected. I have never explained this one, but after this example, I will explain this one specifically. And this protected is one of the access modifier, like private. Okay, so protected int pages, and there is a set method and get method for the pages. Okay, and here dictionary extends book. So book is the parent class of dictionary. So this means that dictionary also has these three members. Okay, so it is like that. Dictionary has pages, set pages, and get pages. So even if there are one member variable and three methods, it's like dictionary has two member variables and 5 methods. Okay, so I think this is pretty simple class. Definitions and compute ratios and set definition and get definition. Okay, then let's see the main method. In main method, the dictionary object is created. It is called Webster, and here Webster.getPage. GetPage is not in the dictionary class. It's in the book class. Okay, but book class is a parent class of the dictionary class. So the object of dictionary can use getPages. Okay, see here, getPages is here, but getPages is a parent of the dictionary. So dictionary object can use getPages method. And Webster.getDefinition and compute ratio, these two methods are from dictionary class. So there is no problem here. So if you run this code, you can have this result. Let me explain protected modifier. Visibility modifiers affect the way that class members can be used in a child class. Variables and methods declared with private visibility cannot be referenced in a child class. They can be referenced in the child class if they are declared with public visibility. But public variables violate the principle of encapsulation. Okay, so there is a third visibility modifier that helps in inheritance situation, that is protected. Okay, so if there is no inheritance, then we don't have to define a member as protected. Protected is only related with inheritance situation. The protected modifier allows a child class to reference a variable or method in the parent class. So protected is very useful in inheritance relationship. It provides more encapsulation than public visibility, but is not as tightly encapsulated as private visibility. A protected variable is also visible to any class in the same package as the parent class. Protected variables and methods can be shown with pound symbol preceding them in UML diagram. In UML diagram, private member is denoted by minus sign, right? And plus is for the public member, and pound sign is for the protected member. Okay. This is an example of private modifier in the parent class. In example 2 package, there are two classes, parent and child. Parent class has 3 members, private data 1 and public data 2 and public show method. And child class has 2 members, private child data, public set data method. Even if there is only 2 members in the child class, since there is an inheritance relationship, child class has these 5 members. Okay, so child class has these 3 and these 2. So total, there are 5 members. The child class has data 1 as its own data member. Data 1 is in the parent class and it is declared as private. Okay, this is private member. However, it is declared private, so data 1 cannot be accessed from the child class. Can you understand this one? Child class has data 1, but child class cannot access data 1 directly. So here, parent class has private member data 1 and child extends parent. So child is like a child has these 3 members, but child class cannot access private member in the child class. Okay, so private is for the encapsulation and it is very strict in access. So you must be careful to use private member of the parent class. If you want to use private member in the parent class, then you must make some method to access it directly. Okay, I'll explain it later. Okay, at first, you must know that private member of the parent class cannot be accessed by the child class. Let's see protected modifier example. There are 3 classes. Person is the parent class, student is the child class, and this inheritance test class will have main method. So inheritance test has main method, and person class will have 2 member data. They are defined as declared as protected. Okay, this pound symbol means protected access modifier, and constructor, 2 constructors, and print method. And this is the student child class. And you see here, this means inheritance. Child student class has 1 member data major, that is private member, and 2 constructors, and print all method. Okay, so I will show the implementation of this UML diagram. Person has 2 members. They are all protected. Okay, protected. This means that the child of this class can be accessed name and email directly. And 2 constructors and print method like this. And here is student class. This is important. Student extends person. This means that the student will use the members in the person class. Student class has 1 private member, major, and 2 constructors. And here, the student has only 1 member data here. But from the parent class person, it inherits name and email information. Okay, so string name, string email, string major. Here, name and email will be assigned to this dot name, this dot email. Okay, so as you see here, the student class use name and email as if they are its members. Okay, so member variables from the parents class can be used freely like this. And in print all method, print method is called. Okay, print method is from the parent class. So print all method is in the student class. So the method in the student class, child class, calls the method in the parent class as if it has its own print method. Okay. And this is the main method. In the main method, 2 objects are created, S1 and S2. So name, email, and major. Okay, name, email, major like this. And then print all method is called, so print the information of these two objects, like this. Now I will explain the super keyword. Constructors are not inherited even though they have public visibility. Yet we often want to use the parent's constructor to set up the parent part of the object. The super reference can be used to refer to the parent class, and often it's used to invoke the parent's constructor. A child's constructor is responsible for calling the parent's constructor using this super keyword. The first line of a child's constructor should use the super reference to call the parent's constructor. So this is very similar with this constructor. The super reference can also be used to reference other variables and methods defined in the parent's class. I will explain super keyword using some examples. Let's take a look at this example. This is a parent class. Parent class has test and call me method. And this is a child class. Child extends parent. So this means that this class will have this member also. And child class has its own test method and what is it method. Okay. So parent class have two methods. Child has two methods. Okay, and here the test method is both in parent class and child class. And this is the main method. In the main method, child object C is created. And C calls test method, C.test. Then there are two test methods. One is in the parent method and the other is child method. At this time, at first, because this is the object of child, the C is child object, so the computer sees if test method is in the child class. And this time, computer finds the test method here. So child test is printed out. Okay. And then see that what is it? What is it? Method is here. So this is printed out. And see that call me. Computer sees if call me method is in the child class, but there is no call me method in the child class. Then computer goes up to the parent class to see if the parent class has call me method. This time parent class has call me method, so call me is printed out. Okay, I think you completely understood this code. Then this time I want to call the test method in the parent class. Okay, if we write like this, then test method in the child class is called. But this time I want to call the test method in the parent class. Okay, to do that you can use super keyword. So you can change. Let me erase. Okay, I want to erase all the stuff here. Yeah. Okay. Yes, here. See, I changed this test method like this. So inside the test method, super.test. Super means my parent. Okay. So this is the child test method. Inside the child test method, super.test is called. Then when we execute this main code, at first object C is created and C.test. So computer sees if test method is in the child class. And this is the test method in the child class. So computer execute this code. And the first one, the computer will execute super.test. This means that super is my parent. So the parent test method is executed here, called here, so executed here. So parent test is printed out like this, and then child test is printed out like this. Okay, so super reference can also be used to reference other variables and methods defined in the parent class. Okay. Let's see this example. This example has shape class as a parent class and rectangle class as its child class. See here, this is an inheritance. And then inheritance rectangle is the driver class, which has main method. The shape class has one member variable name that is protected, and constructor, two constructors, and show method. And in rectangle class, there are two members that are both are private members, right? This is private members, and two constructors and show method. See, show method is in the shape class and also in the rectangle class. So it's like rectangle class has two show methods, okay? One is for itself and one is from the parent. And let's make a code based on this UML diagram. Shape class has protected member string name and two constructors like this and show method. Okay, and rectangle class extends shape. This means that the rectangle class can use name and show inside here. Okay, inside here. Rectangle method has two private member data, length and width. And these are constructors. And this is show method. Okay. In the show method, super.show is called. Okay. This means that parent show method. Okay. So call the parent show method with a super keyword. Because show is both parent and child, if you want to call parent show, you must use super keyword. And this is the main method. In the main method, two rectangle objects are created. And then rec1.show, rec2.show. At this time, this show method is in the child class. Okay. So this show is rectangle show. Okay. In the previous page, rectangle show. This is called. Okay. This is called. Then this show will call the parent show. Okay. So please understand the connection of super keyword. A super keyword can be used in the constructor. I'll explain it with this example. Since the child class inherits from the parent class like this, an object of the child class actually has two data members, data A and data B, right? So if you create an object of a child class like this, then she will have two places, one for data 1 and the other for data 2, data B. In the child constructor, here in the child constructor, there are three constructors. We can initialize parent member like this. And you see that this code is exactly the same as this code, right? So this part is the same as the parent constructor part. It is not desirable to repeat the same code like this. So we can use super keyword to improve this code. This code is exactly the same as the previous code. Just these two lines are different. When you want to initialize the parent member data in the child constructor, you can call the parent's constructor. So here, this is the parent constructor. if you call this parent constructor, then you can initialize the value data A, right? But you cannot call a parent constructor directly like this. Instead, you need to use super keyword. Okay, so like this, if you write like this, super and parentheses, you need to put some variables, some data members to be initialized. So this will automatically call this one, parent constructor. Okay, and in this constructor also, in this line, the parent constructor, which has one integer value as a parameter, so this is the one, right? So this one will be called. Okay, so super keyword is used to call a parent constructor. Okay, here there is one thing important thing here. When calling the parent constructor using the super keyword, it must be on the first line of the child constructor. So here, if you change these two lines, then compile error will occur. Okay, so when you use super keyword to use parent constructor, the line should be the first line of the child constructor, like this. Okay, this is important grammar. You know that you can call other constructors of the same class using this keyword, and you know that you can call the parent constructor using super keyword in the child class. Let's see if you can use the two together. Okay, so let's see this example. This is a person class. It has two member variables, and these are protected members and default constructor. You don't have to put this one if you don't use it. And this is the constructor which has only one parameter, name, and this constructor has two parameters, name and email. So like this, in this parameter, in this constructor, you can use this name. Then at this line, this constructor will be called. Okay, so this is used like this, and when calling another constructor using this keyword, you must write it on the first line. Okay, so if you interchange these two lines, then compile error will occur. Always this should be the first line in the constructor, like this. This is a student class. There is a child class of class person, because here student extends person, so person is the parent class of this class. Student class has two private members, scroll and year, and person class has two members, name and email. Okay, let's see this one. Yeah, person class has two members, name and email, and student class has two more private members, like this. So student object will have four members, right? And here are constructors. So this is the constructor to use name and email. So super keyword is used, and here there are three arguments, three parameters, like this. So name and email will be used here. Okay, then this line will call this constructor, right? Because this is used when calling other constructor in the same class. So in this line, this constructor will be called. And actually you can write this part as like this. Okay, because actually this constructor will call super parent constructor, like this. So this line, this is okay, and also this is okay. Okay, either way you can use that. And here, string name, email, score, year. There are 4 parameters. And this time also we use this. Okay, because this time there are 3 parameters, name, email, score. So we use this constructor in the same class. Okay, I think you understand this one. The important grammar is this one. The first line of child's constructor should use super reference to call the parent's constructor. The first line of the constructor, child constructor, should use this reference to call the other constructor of its class. Okay, so super constructor and this constructor should be written on the first line of the constructor. So therefore, in a child class, this reference and super reference cannot be used together in one constructor. Can you understand this one? Yes, because this should be the first line. Super should be the first line. So we cannot write this and super together in the constructor. Okay, this is the important grammar in Java. This is an example from the textbook. We have already seen the Book.java and this is Book.java. Actually the same code. So here book class has pages in a as a protected member, and this is the constructor and send method and get method. This is pretty simple class. And then dictionary class extends book 2, so parent and child relationship exists here. And here in the constructor of child class dictionary 2, super keyword is used. Okay, then here the book 2 constructor will be called. Okay, so this is the important part in this example, and the rest is the same. And here this is the main method. In the main method, dictionary 2 object is created. At this moment, dictionary 2 constructor is called. Then this is the dictionary 2 constructor. Then at this point, the parent constructor will be called. Okay, so when you use a parent-child relationship, please use super keyword when you need to call the parent constructor. Let's talk about multiple inheritance. Java supports only single inheritance, meaning that a derived class, child class, can have only one parent class. Multiple inheritance allows a class to be derived from 2 or more classes, inheriting the members of all parents. Collisions, such as the same variable name in 2 parents, have to be resolved. Multiple inheritance is generally not needed, and Java does not support it. Okay. Here, this is a single inheritance. Child has only one parent. So this is okay in Java. And this is impossible. Child class cannot have more than 2 parent classes. In section 9.3, you will learn interfaces. Interface is different from classes. The child class can only have just one parent class. However, child class can have many interfaces as its parents. Okay, I'll explain this in section 9.3.